I don't know how loud that is.
Pretty loud?
Sounds good to me.
All right, did we do prayer and everything?
No, we haven't done anything.
Okay.
I was looking for volunteers to take your part.
And you wouldn't
I
let me.
didn't get any.
I would have liked
You
to
did
volunteer
too.
for the last part.
You got
Stan, you want to lead us in prayer and pledge?
Such a heartfelt request, how can I not do it? Please join me if you will. Great architect of the universe, thank you for giving us the opportunity to be together, family and friends. We ask your guidance on all that we do, and we ask your guidance for the staff and the officers and the board so that we continue to make this a wonderful place to live. We also ask your continued guidance and blessings on all the first responders and on the military that make our lives so nice. We ask you to be with anybody, any of our residents or staff that maybe has lost a family member recently or is fighting illness. Please put your arms around them. In all things we ask in His name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, I gotta give it up.
Thank you very much. Oh, you can talk if you want. Okay, so there actually are some updates with the guard shack. So the part that we've been waiting on has been delivered, and now it's being programmed. So we're hoping in the next week or two they can get it over here and get it installed, and we'll be all good to go. So we're potentially a week or two away from the guard shack being operable. Now it does operate right now, we just don't have any way to know you're there. That's what we're waiting on, is the part that lets us know that someone's at the gate. So we are getting there. The part is in, it just needs to be reprogrammed. So that's where they're at right now with the guard shack. Let's see, what else did I?
paving.
Paving's complete except for one pothole, I believe, one or maybe two that they missed.
Well, that's a big deal.
That one going over into the...
We can do what we had money for. One thing at a time. Can't do it all. Can't do it all. We did what we had the money for. We prioritized what we could, and we got done what we could. The part you're talking about by the sidewalk, we're going to do with cold patch in-house. You're talking about that little edge part that fell down over here. Yeah, they're just cold patching that. I actually didn't know they didn't have that done yet, so I'll find out, because I thought we talked about that last week. I don't walk over there, so I don't see it much.
So you do have a system here where you can do a cold patch.
We can do a cold patch, but if I mean, cold patch is doesn't like solve a major issue. Like if it's a major thoroughfare, that cold patch will be out by winter time. But we can get cold patch and you can patch it.
They dump gravel in the one in front of my house, and every time it rains, the gravel goes down in under the grate, and now under the grate's filling with gravel.
Where are you at?
31A.
31A.
Next door to Peggy.
As you turn left,
Yeah, down on the...
Sister on the valley, there's, yeah.
Yeah, right now we did everything that we could that needed done for now. I'm not saying there won't be another round, probably maybe early in the year, but right now we're kind of limited. We only get so much money, and I know no one's going to like this, but I'd rather that excrement leaves my buildings than everybody have a smooth drive on the parking way. So we had to kind of smooth some things out and redo some other projects to make money for everything. Let's see, we had paving, we had that. Oh, I know the biggest one I wanted to talk about is the beauty shop. So everybody knows we made a change in the beauty shop. Now, everybody's wondering why, how can you do this to Mary Beth? She's been here for so long, so on and so forth. I love Mary Beth as much as the next person. At the end of the day, it's my job to make sure we can run a business. It's my job to make sure that everything's safe. It's my job to make sure that we do everything by the book. That's pretty much all I can say by it. I wouldn't make a change if I didn't have to, period. I know everyone's questioning it and everyone has their own opinions, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't have made a change if there wasn't a reason. The reasons are there, and they just keep coming more and more forward as a new person's getting in. So here's one that just happened yesterday. Yesterday I received a phone call from a resident that said, I've been getting my hair cut here forever by Mary Beth and I've never had a problem, and today I was told I couldn't get my hair cut because I'm on oxygen. You know what I learned yesterday? It's illegal to have an oxygen tank in a beauty shop. Did you know that? Oh, how about that? It's not even a rule. It's a law. You're not allowed to have an oxygen tank in a beauty shop. You know how many oxygen tanks I've had in my beauty shops over the years? Thousands. I just learned yesterday, it's actually illegal. $2,500 fine.
So what happened?
So I put a concentrator in there, and now when you come down, if you have oxygen, you can disconnect your tubing, plug into the concentrator, and we're good. But I didn't know that, because I didn't even know it was a problem until a resident asked someone who does know, and they said, I can't. Now, it doesn't mean we couldn't, it's just right then we could not. So they rescheduled our appointment, we got it taken care of, we're all set.
So the key is not to get caught.
Just so you know, I've already been fined numerous times for getting caught because they just pop in. And when the Board of Cosmetology pops in, I'm up to about $1,500 in fines over the last 3 years.
So that tells me that this new organization is a large conglomerate.
Yes.
And they know.
This is all they do.
That's good.
All they do is run salons inside senior retirement centers.
That's a good thing.
That's all they do. That's their whole business model. And they're really, really good at it. So we're part of a thing called Leading Age. Leading Age is a lobbying group, I guess, probably the easiest way to call it. They're like a big support system. So there's two. There's OHCA, the Ohio Healthcare Association, and then Leading Age, which is national, and then every state has their own. So we're part of Leading Age Ohio. OHCA is for any healthcare. Leading Age is for not-for-profits. So I'm actually part of both because I like some presenters from OHCA better than presenters from Leading Age, because sometimes they bring a different perspective. And when you're talking revenue, you always want to go to the for-profit side to learn how to maximize your revenue more than the not-for-profit side. Because the for-profit side, they know what they're doing when it comes to maximizing revenue. So sometimes you get better insight. So we belong to both. But as part of Leading Age, PS Salon is also part of that. We're also part of a program called Linkage, which is what's called a GPO. It's a group purchasing organization. And PS Salons is also backed by Linkage. So these are pretty big hitters in the industry, and they all back PS Salons. Like I said, the employer I came from, which has 13 facilities, uses them in like 8, and they really do a good job. You know, I've already had some very strong positive feedback. Now Danielle was down there yesterday by herself because the other girl had a health issue, but she was down there yesterday, and I know she's working like a whirlwind, making sure we're getting all the appointments set up and going forward. I will say there is a slight hiccup at Pathways right now. They were supposed to start at Pathways this week. I'll just tell you, we didn't have all our stuff together to help them because we're still working on that, because we have to poll everybody and get everything signed. So it's taken a little longer than we had hoped to get that done, but they're going to be down at Pathways next Wednesday to start down there. So we're working on it, and we're working through. They're still working on the massage license and the manicure. So I know those things are on their way, but they're right on the top of their priority list. But if you've been down there, it looks much better, much cleaner, much more organized. We got rid of the station that we were using to wash hair, which was not a hair wash station, so it got ruined. We took that out. Got the manicure situation squared away. And we took some of the dryers out because we had like 8 dryers. And we can't cut 8 hair at one time, so we just got to free some space up that way. But looks good, smells good, and they've got a very professional setup right now moving forward. So we're excited about it. I know there's a lot of apprehension. Some of the things that I was told is all of a sudden I'm being told, holy cow, our drivers are getting slammed with off-campus beauty shop runs because people say that we can't pay cash. That is true. You cannot pay cash. They do not take cash. And that's a safeguard for you and for them, for employees. So I understand that. We prefer that you set up a celebration account so that you can just pay through the account. You can add money to it. You can set it up on an auto renew, all those things. The other preferred option is that you walk in and pay with a credit card. If you cannot do either of those, you can put it on a house account. If you pay through a resident trust account, you can do that. We are trying to limit that because that's all manually keyed by our staff at the end of every month. So there's a whole reconciliation process that's manually done between 3 different systems. So we're trying to limit that. The less hands in the pot, the easier it gets. The more things we can automate, the easier it is. There are definitely people who we know for sure have to use the RTA. We know that. If they're a long-term care resident on Medicaid, they don't have a bank account. They have an RTA here because they have very limited funds. So we know that those ones are going to have to come through. But our goal is to try to utilize what they have on their end so that it minimizes the impact of how much we have to manually key at the end of every month, and just to try to keep it as clean as possible. So I think there was some misunderstanding that when they heard no cash, that meant you couldn't do anything, you had to pay with credit card. Yes, if you're paying in person, you have to pay with credit card or check. Blew my mind, you won't take cash, but you'll take a check. But yes, they still take checks. And I actually saw someone write a check yesterday. That's the first time I've seen that in a long time. I actually went home and asked my wife, where's the checkbook? She said, what? I was like, yeah, that's what I thought. So I tried to find my checkbook last night. Oh, no idea where it's at. So, but they do take checks, they take credit card, they do not take cash. You can set up a celebration account, or you can have it on your house account and we can charge your RTA or put it on your bill. Just the latter one's the one we're trying to minimize because of the way it impacts our end of month close and reconciliation through the billing department.
When you say put it on your bill, you mean your rent bill?
Yes.
Okay. I know somebody asked that question.
Yes. So we don't want that to happen, but we understand that it may have to happen sometimes.
Okay.
All right. Any questions about the beauty? Who's been there?
It's been wet
To the beauty shops since Thursday.
today.
How'd it go?
Very well.
All right.
Today,
You went today?
great.
Good.
Yesterday.
Yesterday? I was like,
Today,
did it go good today?
very well.
All right. Now I was in there yesterday when our Garber was in there.
No, never,
What's that?
never.
I hear it. Now, I will tell you, they had a whole bunch of stuff shipped in, and 3 boxes are missing. We took a delivery of 3 of 6. So when we get what do they call it? A manifest of delivery. There were 6 packages, but only 3 arrived. So 3 of their packages are lost. It's all the nail polish, it's the color. So it's all the expensive stuff. Nail polish, hair color, and something, the wax machine. So 3 things did not arrive, and UPS hasn't tracked them down yet as of yesterday morning. So I know they're still working on that. So it's supposed to be 6 packages, we got 3. So we're working on the wax machine and the polish.
Are they gonna do pedicures? Because I cannot bend over and cut my toenails anymore.
So I think the answer to that is no. And I think because just like how my aides don't do that because of their the issues you can have with that. So I think they're not doing pedicures because with the clientele that we serve, they really want that to go to the podiatrist. If you need to see the podiatrist, we do have Dr. Norman who comes here and we can get you on the list for that. Because I noticed that the only thing they put on anything was manicure. They never put pedicure. And we didn't ask the question, but just because of how things work, like in the skilled nursing center in the AL, I understand that that's probably something they don't do either because they would prefer you go to a podiatrist. All right, well, I have a special guest, Stacy. You're up.
She's hiding.
She was hiding back there.
I didn't want to come in and get all the attention while you were talking. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Are we ready to drink here in an hour?
Oh, yes.
Well, I just wanted to pop by and just say some of the fun things that we're going to be having come up in the next couple months and a few little changes. So we know we've started our big bingo bash up again in the auditorium. We've had a really good turnout for that. It's always going to be the 3rd Monday of the month, although this month, on the 1st of the month, after all the calendars were done, I got a call from the Cincinnati Reds, and they are going to be sending out George Foster Anybody know who George Foster is?
Oh, yeah.
Yep, he's going to be coming out to the campus on September 18th in the clubhouse. We're going to do hot dogs and baseball food and all that stuff, and he's going to talk to us from 12 to 1. So look for that on K4. That is not on the What's Happening calendar, but it will be on K4.
It's already there.
Yeah, okay, great. And get the word out for that. So that's kind of exciting to have him come out. So we're going to do the Bingo Bash the following Monday. So we'll still have it. It'll just be the next Monday on the 25th. I don't know if anybody came out to see Al Mahan a couple months ago in the auditorium. He'll be back on the 28th to sing for us. And then Trunk or Treat. Who attended Trunk or Treat last year? That was our first Trunk or Treat. We always did it in the auditorium, Trick or Treat, but you know, COVID and all that jazz, we did Trunk or Treat. We had over 250 kids show up, and we had over 42 cars participate. It was the best Trunk or Treat I've ever been to, personally. So we're going to be doing candy donations again, and I'll be putting up a sign-up sheet for Trunk or Treat. And like I said, you can bring your golf cart, bring your car. If you do not have decorations, I will help you and provide you something to decorate your car with. I would love to have a ton of cars, a ton of costumes. I'm going to have games and treats and all that stuff in the clubhouse again. So please get the word out. I would love for this to be a big, huge event. I would love to get it so big that maybe we could open it up to the outside community at some point. Because we had so much candy left over last year. And we were dumping it in people's bags. We are not, we were handfuling it. But we just had so much participation and so many donations. It was wonderful. So I'm really looking forward to that. On the 16th, just because it's spooky season of October, I have Chad Collier, who is a mentalist, and he's going to be coming out to entertain us. So he's a mind reader. So look out for that on the October calendar. That's something different. I think it'll be fun for October. I know you guys have Oktoberfest, and we're trying to figure out
Working on that.
a way to, I have the sauerkraut band coming, so we're trying to make a way where we can do that on the same day. So we got that, and of course Veterans Day. If you're new here, we always do a veterans program and lunch in the clubhouse for Veterans Day the Friday before. I'll be sending out a message. I just want to make sure that our list of veterans is updated. So if you are new to the campus, I want to know who you are and what you did so you can be honored that day. We'll have a band and lunch that day, and some special entertainment. We've got a nice lady from Wright Pack coming out to sing the Star Spangled Banner for us, so it'll be a really good event. And then moving on into December, it's not that far away. We will have Vintage Voices coming out. We've got, I got a barbershop quartet from, if anybody's ever heard of the Sweet Adelines. I got 4 of them coming out to sing for us, and that's actually going to be on a weekend. I'm trying to incorporate a little bit more entertainment and things to do on the weekend. We have the Youth Symphony coming out to perform for us. We'll have the auditorium, the tree up, poinsettias. It'll be beautiful. They're going to come out and do a Christmas concert for us on the 15th of December. And I'm sure there'll be lots more that we'll add in between then. As always, reach out to me if there's anything special that you have on your mind that you'd like to see happen here. I'll do my best to make sure it happens. I know where's she at? I've been approached about doing special trips to certain places and things like that. So I know in the art room they started taking ceramic trips, and anything that we can do that I can get a lot of participation in, we'll do our best to make happen. So just let me know. So if you have any questions, call me.
Can you repeat trunk or treat date?
Trunk or treat, yep, as soon as I close that, huh? My brain. So trunk or treat is going to be on Thursday, the 26th. And we'll go from 6 to 8. And then once the kids go through the line, they can come in the clubhouse. We'll have games and hot chocolate. And know that that is open to your families, any kids you have in your life. We need them all out, staff. So even if you have any close friends with kids, maybe not a relative, please have them come out because it was so much fun last year. Everybody had a blast. So, all right.
All right, thank you, Stacy.
You're welcome.
And I want to thank Stacy for setting up the kids' activities inside the clubhouse for Friday night's event. Thank you, Stace.
The weaving was the most popular.
Well,
Was that the wrist things?
Yeah.
wristband weaving. Okay, a couple things we do have coming up. I know Dave's going to talk about some events, but we did come up with a unique event that's outside of, basically the community center wants to do more like theme days and stuff like that. So one of the things they came up with was doing a luau. So they had a great idea to try to do a luau over here, and then they made the mistake of talking to Nathan and I about it, and so we took it over a little bit. So everyone know Tim, the driver?
Yes.
So Tim has a big old smoker, and he caters and stuff on weekends and whatnot. Well, we conned him into doing a pig roast for the luau, and I have a date. Is it the 28th?
28th.
Yeah. So September 28th. So we're real excited about the luau. They've got a pretty good menu planned. It's going to be more like an action dining thing where, you know, the food's kind of out and about. We're going to park that big old smoker with the pig right out front so we can fill the campus with the smell of barbecue, and you guys can see it out there. And for those of you who may be a little gun shy, we did get a headless pig. So we're not worried about that.
No apple in the mouth?
No apple in the mouth. So terribly excited about it. It'll be the first time we've done one here. Maybe not in the history, because I'm sure we've roasted a pig over the 130 years. But first time we've done one here since I've been here. So I'm pretty excited about it. So we're looking forward to that. Also, we do know that Dave's going to talk about first responder breakfast coming up, but we do have September 11th on, is that Monday?
Monday, this Monday.
Yeah, this Monday. So if anybody remembers a gentleman by the name of John White, used to be an employee here, used to work over in the castle. On September 11th, John would go out front of the castle and he would play taps at 8:53 a.m., which is the time the first plane hit the tower. So John is no longer with us. He did pass away here about a year or so ago. But we do have, oh great, Norm is going to play the bagpipes up by the flags in front of the castle at 8:53 on Monday in honor of all those who perished in 9/11.
I got 8:46 on here.
8:46.
Is that what it is? Oh, was the second one 8:53?
Yeah.
Okay.
The other one was 8:50.
Sorry.
It's on K4 already.
8:46.
Speaking of having things that have to do with flags, the two flags, other than the national one, are very tattered.
We have a Masonic flag on order. That one I do know. I didn't realize the other one was.
Those two are very tattered.
It's the Ohio one, right?
Uh-huh.
All right. I know we can usually pretty regularly get the American flags, but we've had some issues getting some of the others.
Okay.
All right. Let's see what else I have. Oh, Dave and I owe an apology to all the Bengals fans. I mean, you did it to yourselves. It's not our fault you chose to play Cleveland for the first game. So
It's going to be a good weekend.
it's going to be a good weekend. Although, who in the world thought Detroit could beat the Kansas City Chiefs? But who knows? All right, Dave.
I was so happy when I woke up this morning and saw that they got beat Kansas City. Well, I'm going to piggyback on Stacy's, the Reds, to give you, I mean, a lot of you know George Foster, but some of you probably, I grew up, you know, big Red Machine fan. So I think I was 15 when he was playing. So, but he's a two-time World Series champion. He's the only Red to hit 50 home runs in a season. He's a National League MVP. He's in the Reds Hall of Fame. I mean, this is a pretty big deal to have George Foster come here. So I hope you all come out to see this guy and listen to his stories. So I'm sure he's got some pretty good ones. So.
Is that going to be at noon or evening or what?
I believe it's going to be, I just put the flyer out, 11:30.
Okay.
We're going to have hot dogs. Stacy and I really haven't gotten menued all the way down, but hot dogs and
Popcorn and.
popcorn, ballpark food is what we're going to do. Cracker Jacks. So we're going to do all that. He's going to be here from 12 to 1. So I want to get everybody in there settled before he got there.
And be on time, because he's gonna be on a
Yeah, he's only here for an hour.
1 hour and they're out.
He's in and out. I hope he brings a World Series ring. I would love to see one. So
Well, I'm sure he will.
I would think he'd have one on, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. I got a couple other things going on. We do have the first responder pancake breakfast. That is Wednesday, September 27th. It'll be at the clubhouse from 8 to 10. Come out and show your support to the first responders. I know Susan's got some tickets to sell. I have tickets, and so does Terry. They are $5 to buy a ticket to go to the pancake. Tony's already talked about the luau, and I've got a couple things in October. Stacy talked about it. She's got a sauerkraut band. We're going to try and tie that in with our Oktoberfest. For us to do that, we have to move the date, so more details to come on that. And then the day after the trunk or treat, we have our Halloween campfire. We'll have a couple fire pits out there. It's always a good turnout. You got to cook your own hot dogs, your own s'mores. Just come out and have fun with us outside out there.
It's 27th.
That is October 27th. It's a Friday. So, and other than that, that's all I have.
No, we gotta stop talking about everything you have talked about. That's right. All right. I don't think I have any other updates. I know the biggest one that we had to make sure we talked about was the beauty shop and then that gate. And we are preparing for fall, so you'll start to see, like, obviously our seasonal grounds guys have started to trickle away. They're going to, things like college, stuff like that that they have to handle. But they're going to start preparing for fall. We are having, let's see, are they here? I don't see them. So everyone knows we had a little tree incident a couple weeks back when the weather got real bad. So we did find a tree company. They came out and assessed the situation, and then we are going to take care of that tree. There's another tree that got beat up in the storm that's posing a threat we're taking care of. And then there's a couple honey locusts that we're going to go up and remove some dead limbs from that don't look real promising, and I believe those are over here by Cunningham. So it's just, tree guys are busy and they're trying to get us in. I'm hoping they can get us in next week, that we can get that all taken care of. So we did have them walk the tree line to see if there was anything else that was looming or dead or looked like it could be a potential hazard. You didn't really see anything that poses any type of impending threat. So hopefully we'll see them out there next week.
If it's not too green, I could use some of that fire.
I think that tree is pretty alive.
That one is. I
That one was-
can't burn that one this year.
It was big. It was a big boy. I think it was because it grew like it was on top of on the side of a cliff, so it didn't have a whole lot of roots.
Save that wood for the cookout.
Right.
Well, there we go.
Well, it might not be a couple, 3 years till it gets dry.
But they got some dead limbs or something.
They did. They took
I'll
some
get
dead
with
limbs
Tom.
out.
Tom will get me some woods. Actually, I still got some wood just been sitting there since last year. Have you noticed that?
Yes. And then we got the new grill. You guys, most of you have eaten off of it if you've been to the last couple of events. I think the new grill's going over well. Just to make sure everyone is aware, we do have it under lock and key. We are not getting rid of the other grill. For people who rent the clubhouse, they can use the old grill. We are not using, because that's part of the problem is someone uses it. It's like a rental car. You drive it like you stole it, and you get it back, it's dirty, it's filthy, they have cheese all over it, no one does anything correct, so we're gonna leave that one for rentals, and then the big one, the new one, is locked down, so you cannot use it. Now, unfortunately, that rental policy does go for residents and staff as well, so it's anybody who uses the clubhouse, we're only using the old grill for non-facility sponsored events or resident events.
And I'm the only one with the combination to the lock.
Is it 1, 2, 3, 4?
No. No.
And if you use the oven, do not leave any items remaining in the oven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
I didn't do it.
So what she said was, if you use the oven, don't leave anything in the oven. So I actually have a personal story about this. Way back when I was in middle school, they still taught home ec. And we had home ec class. And we were baking, and we went in and we preheated the oven. And a girl I went to school with We did all the cooking, she opened the oven, and someone left a cast iron skillet in the oven. And she was like, oh, who left this in here? And she reached in, and it was brutal, because that thing had preheated to 350 degrees for like 15 minutes, and it like melted her hand, it was so hot. So yes, do not leave things in the oven. I say that, my grandmother always kept pizza in the oven, which never made any sense to me either, because if you preheated that, it just caught on fire because it was still in the box. Oh, did your mom put pizza in the oven? In the box?
No, never.
I thought it was an Italian thing, because my grandma always did that. All right, Mr. Stan, do you have anything you want to discuss?
Well, you had mentioned about the beauty shop, potential of fines. Just a point of clarification, if there's fines or jail time, does that involve the chairman of the board?
No, you
That's
guys.
the only thing. No, otherwise, I don't have anything from the board, but I forget now when our next meeting's coming up.
November.
Yeah, so otherwise.
I think it's
That's it.
November 11th, actually. So, all right. I do have one question. Stacy brought up Veterans Day. Do we have any residents involved in Veterans Roll Call now? Because I know Phil was always kind of our liaison. Jerry, you're in there? Okay. I just want to make sure that Stacy has a contact that we can make sure we get with and kind of keep that stuff up for things like Veterans Day.
You're guest speaker, right, Raleigh, at the next one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't hear you.
Thank you.
You talking to Dave or me?
Both.
Oh, okay. He just asked if Raleigh's the guest speaker at the next
Yes,
Veterans Roll Call.
yes. Yes, he is. It's advertised so that on the K4.
Perfect. Okay. Well, I don't have anything else. Nothing? All right, you gotta get while the getting's good. Stan, you want to send us on our way?
Yeah. One thing I did happen to think of, and I was asked on nighttime, do we have somebody on staff and maintenance that's here 24/7? I told them I didn't think so.
Okay, so did everyone hear the question? Stan said he was asked if we have somebody on campus 24 hours a day in maintenance, and the answer to that is no. We lost a maintenance man, it's been over a year, who worked second shift, and that second shift was until 8 p.m. So he left, and we haven't had that filled, but what we've had the guys do is rotate that second shift. On Monday, we finally found a replacement. That's how long it takes to find somebody. And now we will have a true second shift maintenance man who's going to work from like 2:30 to 11. He's going to start early, so there's a little bit of overlap to make sure he gets direction on what projects still need to be completed and whatnot. His primary focus is going to be things like painting, because in maintenance world, you don't want him running saws or drilling holes at 11 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night. But primarily, he'll handle a lot of like common area painting. When we're doing unit turnovers and stuff like that, he can paint at night, but then he'll be here until 11 o'clock Monday through Friday to run calls. Like if there's a clogged drain or a toilet overflowing somewhere, and then if it's HVAC, he can at least go there and triage. He's not an HVAC specialist. We will not train him to be an HVAC specialist, because that's where we get into a lot of trouble. If we try to train everybody and everything, it's not everybody's cup of tea. And then what happens is they go in and sometimes make things worse than they were. So we have people who get called in. So right now we have a rotating call-in schedule, and if it's after hours, or if the tech who's here can't handle it alone or doesn't have the expertise, we have a call-in system that comes in, and then they have like an on-call rate that they go through. So it's not 24 hours a day. The only 24-hour-a-day departments are nursing and security.
So if someone has a question on the weekends, you got someone to call. You can call security or even the PBX.
Or PBX, because maintenance is here on Saturday and Sunday from, I think that's going to change a little bit. I think we're going to be from 7 to 3:30 on Saturday and Sundays.
Yes, this last Sunday, I got back home from church, and I had running the dishwasher, and the kitchen floor was flooded. So I called PBX, and Bob came up and fixed the whole
Yeah, because
thing.
Bob's gonna be here on Sundays. All right, does that help?
I think so. I did mention that in the event of major problems, I know you and David have showed up in the middle of the night
Many
and
times.
had your toolkit with you, so, but, yeah, I indicated, not knowing, best bet, call security and let them get a message to maintenance, will be in the next morning. Okay. If you'll stand and join me for benediction. Great architect of the universe, we thank you for the plenty blessings you've bestowed. I ask that you continue to watch over those that are fighting illness or death in the family. We ask your continued guidance for staff and board, any of the decision makers. We greatly appreciate any assistance. We again ask that you keep a watchful eye on the first responders, and we thank you for the many blessings you've bestowed. In Jesus' name, amen. So vote of me.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend and happy hour in an hour, right?